With each month that passes by, we are only getting closer to the release date of Star Wars Episode 9 by writer and director J.J. Abrams and Chris Terrio. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing I will say that I am really looking forward to seeing in this movie is exactly how J.J. Abrams will utilize some of the flashback sequences as well as some of the other sequences involving some of the legacy characters like Luke, Leia, Lando, Han Solo, Chewbacca, you name it. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with Luke Skywalker himself, the Jedi Master, portrayed by Mark Hamill once more. Specifically, a description of a side view of Luke Skywalker in a black cloak with his arm raised toward the sky. It's described he is on a desert world with a hood over his head. The next goes over a rear shot of Luke, focusing on a massive Star Destroyer with his hand aimed at it, causing the Star Destroyer to lose control and hit the surface of the planet, which is assumed to be Jakku during the Battle of Jakku. It's said that once it crashes, it causes a large shockwave of dust that comes racing toward Luke, eventually blinding the sequence. It's said to be a quick glimpse of Luke's past and is said to be similar in length to when Kylo Ren is explaining to Rey what happened between him and Luke. Now, additionally, it's said before the destroyer crashes, there are numerous TIE fighters and X-Wings fighting in the background, giving the sense of battle before the end of the fall of the Empire. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this that's really making me very interested in this movie. Now, we heard about this lightly before, I would say September of last year, 2018, as well as the abandoned concept for The Last Jedi. Now, the whole entire idea of Luke Skywalker taking down a Star Destroyer in Episode 9 not only is respectful by J.J. Abrams, but it also gives us a sense of exactly how powerful the Jedi Master himself, Luke Skywalker, could really be in the Star Wars sequel trilogy. Now, it's described to be similar in length to when Kylo Ren is talking to Rey about what happened between both, him and Luke Skywalker, which was honestly pretty brief, and I can really see this being a brief scene. That also does make a lot of sense. Now, when we look at Episode 9, we do know that J.J. Abrams is really going to use a lot of flashbacks in this movie to explain a lot of the events in between the Star Wars, sequel trilogy and the original trilogy. And it also makes sense because it also adds in, more storytelling elements of the final installment of the Skywalker saga that's going to be focused on the characters of Luke, Leia, Lando, and of course Rey and Kylo Ren. Now, first things first, what I really do want to go over is how this description differs from the one that we went over in September, where these are alternative shots. Now, there's actual, side views of Luke Skywalker taking down the Star Destroyer, as well as a rear shot, this time with the hood over his head. So, we do know that Mark Hamill shot a sequence over at Cardington not too long ago, a couple of weeks ago actually, where he actually was over at Cardington standing on a desert world. A lot of sand was created on the set, which a lot of wreckage was used in the background. We went over this not too long ago. And this most definitely does fit directly in with this concept art description of Luke Skywalker taking down a Star Destroyer in Episode 9. Now, guys, I don't know if you would really count this as a way of J.J. Abrams kind of making up for what we did not get in The Last Jedi. So that's my biggest question for you right now. Would a sequence like this really make up for what was actually not told for the character of Luke in Episode 8, The Last Jedi? Now, for those of you who enjoy the movie, that's perfectly fine and okay and all, but I'm sure that a lot of you guys will also agree with me, but I feel that Luke Skywalker deserved more moments like this in Episode 8 than what we got in that movie of him, doing the milk and stuff like that with the sea monster, and it just went out of line in my point of view. So with that being said, J.J. Abrams doing things like this with Luke Skywalker, including the Luke and Leia training scene that we went over a couple of, days ago actually, I think that it's a step in the right direction, and it also does fit directly in line with how this movie is really going to be used as a way to really get the new fans, the young fans coming into this film, familiar with the legacy characters. We're talking Luke, Leia, Han, and Lando. Those four main characters getting them familiar with a younger audience. So with that being said, guys, what do you think about this whole entire sequence of Luke on the planet Jakku, during the Battle of Jakku, taking down a Star Destroyer and crashing it into the surface of the planet, creating a shockwave of dust that comes racing toward him, as is described? So that's the thing here. We do know that JJ wants to create these amazing moments for Luke Skywalker in order to really give us something to really root for and to really be excited about. And I think that's exactly why Episode 9 is going to stand on its own and is indeed going to be the best of this current trilogy. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.